What's going on, everyone, and welcome back. And we're going for the sub push again. We only need 10 more subs, so we are pushing pretty hard now. I am going to take a quick second to get arranged here. Then we're going to get right back into it. We are hunting some ducks, trying to get this heart shot done. I can't seem to make it happen. We've shot so many ducks, though. Where's that coming from? Oh, right over here. Sweet. Actually, let's go ahead and do this real fast and see if we can get a heart shot on one of these guys. I think they'll be coming down this way. We'll just sit here for a second and see what happens. I think they're gonna come down towards me, actually. Yep. Alright, so if they do, should have a pretty good shot. That's so far left. The audio is still kind of goofy. Weird. That is way left. To me, it feels over there. What the heck? What in the world is happening here? Okay, well, that's interesting. Yeah. Can't say I've ever in my life seen that. What a bug, man. One of the buggiest games. What? Dude, what even are you doing? I don't want to shoot him because then I'll miss the heart. Not until he's walking. This is too much. Oh, I love it though. Now, if I shoot for that one, I'm totally missing the heart. We're gonna shoot this one right here. Okay, he might come out here now. No, we're not gonna risk it. Let's just do that, and hopefully that'll be what we need. Yeah, tumble, tumble, rumble, tumble. There we have it. Finally got the heart shot. Let's go. All right, we're gonna take a quick break, get ourselves situated here. I gotta get something to drink, and I'll be right back. But we nailed it. Got the mission done. Love it. Alright, so here's the deal. I think that we should go to Transylvania and do those last 2 missions. It's either that or we look at deer here and try and find a couple rares. We only have 2 missions to do over Transylvania. I don't see either one of them being done though. I don't think that we're gonna be able to complete either one. So that's kind of why I'm thinking about just staying here doing deer, because over there I need a 4-star brown bear and a 4-star golden jackal. And if you know anything about the bears on this map, they are ridiculous. Just because they don't really age that fast, so it's difficult to get in on them. And I'm thinking we go over here and harass all these deer. I've harassed everything that way. Haven't done these guys. But I think we'll get down here and start harassing these. Just looking for some rares, see what we have. Alright, so down this way. That's at their drink time. But where are they at right now? 1300. They're at drink until 15. An hour to hunt these spots. Alright. I'm just gonna point my guy that way and we're gonna get going. We'll hunt those guys, then we'll hunt the other ones. Sure does look like a path, doesn't it? Like right up in between all these trees. It sure does. It looks like it's a pretty direct line. I don't know if we just found a path or what. There's like these little areas. Will just be like a walkway you can get through. Maybe with your Jeep or something. I mean, it sure is. Look at this. Like a little path. You gotta be right over here, right? Hmm. Well, I guess we'll just go down this way a bit. I haven't hunted these deer too often. I'm not really familiar with where they're gonna be. Not gonna be in the water. That's for sure. Yeah, maybe they're back the other way. They've gotta be now. No way they're over here. We'll go back up here and look. I am not sure where they're gonna be now. Other than sleeping, maybe. I could get down on a chocolate milkshake right now. No cap. 41. Not much of a vanilla guy. Mostly chocolate, bet. Dude, GTA 6 looks so good. Where are these deer at? Hmm. Up here more. And they gotta be around. They gotta be around. I actually think I've hunted these guys and they were like right here. Pretty sure. Let's check. We might need to go to those missions on Transylvania though, just to have something to work towards. Right now, grinding these deer? Gonna be rough. But never know, we can make it make it happen. That whole tree just pop in? That was weird. I know they're over here. There's supposed to be a bunch of deer down here right now. Well, they're on their way to their eating. Only thing I can think of. Sleeping zone. Alright, so that makes more sense because they're like over here sleeping. Yeah, they're like all down in here. Actually, that's more like climbing up this hill, man. I had Bob back in the day. No. Even that was just. Dang. Yeah, that thing's really starting to bug me. Just tell my throat is deteriorating. I woke up this morning and I was like, oh, something does not seem right. Not quite right. Well, I think I figured out what it was. I'd be getting a little under the weather. But we're definitely going to be putting in a few more hours. We're going to push. We're going to push. We'll need 10 more. Know you're out there? Welcome one, welcome all. We will probably switch to some Assassin's Creed here shortly. Because this is so slow paced right now that I'm not feeling it. Not feeling it. Not locked into this. There's no missions to do, so there's no... When I want to come hunt deer, I will, but... I want to just grind for the sake of grinding sometimes is not the best way to go. Huh. Wing and a miss. Okay, there they are. Now we found them. And now I'm just looking for a albino. Male albino. I got a female. Need a male. He is super. Where's the rest of your herd, bud? The rest of them over there too? Are you a lone wolf? There's the other one back there. He's a 1-star as well. Okay. 2 1-stars. Normal. Female, female. Yeah, I don't think there's anything in. Can't see them all though. I don't think. You could probably just let them feed straight to us. Well, I mean, this one's actually a good deer too. Yeah, I didn't think we had any low fitness down there. Nope. Didn't think so. Okay, well we checked these guys. That's this third. Oh, we'll go find these guys now over here somewhere. 320. Okay. I'm just trying to get them to go away. Run at them. Just run right at them. That's how you do it the best. When I'm gonna go away, run directly at them. Like an admin. Alright, so let's go back up over here. Take a look, see. Okay. More down. Checked. No low fitness in there. Whoa! Dang. I was just too busy looking off in the distance, messing around. That's awesome. Alright, alright. Well, we're gonna go ahead and just hunt these guys down here. Because they're right here. So we may as well give them a hunt. They'll be in the trees. Wonder what time they start drinking again. Not till the morning. Really. But they're 8 feet out at 1900, so. Oh, I thought I heard him over here. I had to get another drink. They were 300 too. What a ways. Hey, you know what? This herd's like barely ever here. This? Is it this herd? Or is it this one up here? Like one up there somewhere. Nope, it must be that one. Yeah, it is. They're pretty far, really. Like, back in there somewhere. There we go. Like right in there. Yeah. Right in there. Let's see if he gets any closer. Let's see if I can get both of these guys with a shotgun. Alright. Won't get any closer. Oh no! That was weird, it like glitched. That was weird. Dunsky. And you get a perfect star rating for that. Bosner Climb versus Mule Deer is 100% effective. I don't think I got the other one. He like glitched out and I think I shot right behind him. Yeah, I don't think so. Nailed him though. Like disappeared. Why? Because I got him already? The other one. Alright, well, we hunted those guys. Oh. This a pheasant, huh? Keep it going. What do we got over here? I can't see into the trees. I need to at least go get the 223. Oh, a fox? Badger, young one. Yeah, I'm good. Why not? Let's do this. Alright, well, I'm gonna grab my like 243 or something. Getting on some deer more. Especially the mule. Alright, back up here real quick. Grab us a truck. We take the truck and take off. Go get us some deer. Alright. Let's actually reconfigure this. We'll go archery. And... shh. What's wrong with this? Alright, so I need to find some zones for those guys. I need to do. Their resting's all pretty close. Right along this shelf over here. I think these are whitetail too. Move in here and see what we got. Maybe we do, maybe we don't. Should have put a counter up there, huh? That would have been a good idea. Maybe next time we'll put a counter up. And then, boom. We know. We got 10 more. 10 more, that's all we need. Yo, this is like preschool nap time. What's up? We are changing this right now. Well, let's take a look. Take a look at this one. Definitely had this song on my other one. Don't see him up there. Nope. I don't see him up there. They must be further back somewhere. Is that Hollywood's herd? No. That is. Okay, well, no one over here, I don't think. Let's get in here and look for their zone. Then we'll be able to see what it is. Whether it's the rare, what have you. Maybe they need a high fitness collar though. Maybe a little razzle dazzle. It said somewhere along this shelf, so where? Looks like it's kind of actually over here. Or way over here. These guys. No, that's actually further. It's over here. And for the mules, right here, and over there and see before we get going too crazy far into the elk areas. Yeah, I have a rare zone over here, I'm guessing, right there. Clean these up. Yeah, I get you. Might come over there. Alright, I'm coming over there. Ooh, I wonder if that fox went to a 5-star. I should probably check in. I have the 7 mil, so I can take this elk. Dang, we're gonna climb all the way up here though just to get to him. What kind of animals we got in here? Well, this isn't gonna be the like a rounded hill. Like a Transylvania hill. We got a high fitness in? Looks like it. Let's have some high fitness animals. Alright, there's the mule deer right over there on that ping. So, do you have any other ones out? No. Come with a little razzle dazzle. Weird. Oh, there we go. I think I got that stick crack. Alright, so they're not low, they are high fitness animals. Lost them. Dang. Yeah, they're just like right over this hill. It's difficult. Well, all I understand. He's not coming in. He wants nothing to do with me right Bro, you're like in the tree. I can't even play with that. He's gonna keep yelling at me. He's gonna keep yelling at me. Alright, let's go. We got one more. 9 more subs. We're out of here. I appreciate all the support. But this map has been completed basically. So maybe we should just jump over to Transylvania now. Huh? And if we don't make 300 today, it's okay. It's okay, we'll push again. Didn't mean to hit the hyphen. Oh, they're white-tailed way over there. Go archery style right now. Alright, here's what we'll do actually. We'll set up a little challenge for ourselves here. We're gonna go next 5 kills all archery. Next 5 kills have to be archery, can't be a gun. That way we're kind of ready for moon. Do some archery right now. 5 deer. I can't wait to hunt, man. I can't wait to hunt that map. Kind of bummed, but we'll get to it eventually. So it's just nice because then you can get kind of ahead on content, and that kind of sets up a schedule that's really nice. Oh, it's really weird. Actually, I think I know what it is. Oh no, it's not that. Weird. Really weird. I guess there's only high fitness down there, but wasn't that what I thought? It's just like it seems the audio is coming out of one side, more like heavier than the other. What that's about? I don't know if it's just a game and now I'm finally noticing it, or if it's something on my end. Tempted to switch some settings to see, but not right now. We're pulling in a low fitness from over there. Not from these mule deer. Someone's real close. Archery only. I remember that. See if we can get this other one. Pull them both in. Got you down. We got one down right over here somewhere. Pull this whitetail in. And we'll be good. Down. Free to go. Come on, meow. That is so weird how it does that. It sounds way more. Sounds way louder. Alert, huh? Well, dang. The audio was messing me up. Let's get this next one. I was like, thought it was way up here. Oh jeez, he's right here behind this tree. Yeah! On the move too. Shoink. 27. 2 and 10 meters. We'll call that video. Bro, I'm just yeah, that was a sweet animation too. That's perfect. Oh man, I wish they would like tax in this pose. Arrow in him, you know? Tax in that pose. That's so awesome. Tail up and everything. Alright, well we found them, but I wanted to kind of check to see if there was anything in the bird. So, I don't think I've hunted these guys. If I have, it's been a while. They're still sleeping. I'm 19. I say we go down this other river valley over here and hunt these deer. So, right up here, where we'll find them. 2 herds at least. whitetail right here. Yeah, we could go over here and look for those mules. Alright. Back to our cabin, because... Hey, it's just that much quicker and it's almost nighttime. My son's mom just discovered she's jinxing herself every time she puts him down. Like, oh yes, she's out. Boom. Little dude goes, actually, I have no energy, but I'm gonna be awake and you're gonna hold me. So I can just chill here. The trail we need anyway. Okay. Next thing up is gonna be Mike and a chair. A little bit of a walk still. Alright, so we got 2 down in archery. We need 3 more to feel good about it. I love how their shadow doesn't move. Not eerie at all. It's almost like a vampire floating across them. You can't see my feet. Just floating. My hand up to my... We're pretty close. Even though... my eyes are in my beard. Like my nose, basically. Oh, what the heck? That's hilarious. Hold up. I guess at some point I moved this off the screen. So it had a blank space there. 9 more. That's it, just 9. We hit the goal. Community can celebrate. 9 more. I don't gonna get one in there. Oh, I'm looking. Well, albino in there. Gotta pull this guy into retreat. I guess these are mule deer, so it'd be a melanistic. Right? Or these are whitetail. Yeah, I was close. I almost didn't get him. Almost didn't get that guy. Alright, let's go this way. The whitetail should be I mean, I suppose I could look for a zone over here. So that's 3 out of our 5 archered. Schwink. Done. Whack. Eating rarely. Good to know. We were headed this way, so we're probably gonna be just down here. For a rest zone. Or right here. Box. Getting there as well. Wait, so we're over there to the resting. Get over to the white tip. To be really here or back here. Which they are back here, then we spooked them with our keep. I assume they're over here. Alright, after this hunt, I think we're gonna switch over to Assassin's Creed for few. And we'll wrap it up. Ah, I got something that we should listen to while we're hunting. Okay, so this is approved. And I really like this show, so I figured I would introduce everyone to the Sean Ryan show. I know it's like top 2, top 3 at least on iTunes, but if you haven't heard of it, it's a really good podcast. Brings on some pretty crazy people. Another one is Concrete. It's a really good podcast as well. The last episode that I really liked on there was an episode with Manny Pugh, I believe is his name. And yeah, right now we have Eli Crane talking Sean. I think we're gonna check that out for a bit and do some hunting.
Your schedule. You could go from start to covered in less than 10 grade day and other forms. The protein Now, to first form.
As soon as yeah.
And rising and
There we
rising.
go.
Yep.
I mean, it's real estate through the roof. You know, everything. The cost of food through the roof.
Yep.
Cost of gasoline.
And the link will be in the description
It's
to their
still high,
show.
but it's not as high as it was.
So check it out.
Everything just
I'm
got
gonna
inflated.
be quiet though.
You know, but I don't know if that's because we're raising the debt ceiling. I don't know what implications we have. I don't know who we owe the money to. You know, if we default on it, what are the implications of raising the debt ceiling? Can you walk us through this?
Well, first of all, again, I'm not an economist, right?
Okay.
But I know that this can't continue. I know that no country in the history of the world has been able to continually print money that it didn't have. I think that we're able to do it because we've had such economic prowess for a long time, and we still are. The dollar is still the global reserve currency. Okay, and if that goes away, I think we're gonna be in real trouble. But it's like we just keep spending money faster and faster and faster, and it's always easier. It's always so easy to spend somebody else's money, right? Mm-hmm. And that's a big part of the problem. But here, let me tell you what happens if you try and make cuts up there, and we have. When we started talking about making cuts, the Democrats said, the first attack that they used is that Republicans are trying to cut Social Security and Medicare, even though we weren't going after any mandatory spending, and those are considered mandatory programs, right? Mm-hmm. And so thankfully, we all got on the PR horse. Everybody got out there in unison. Republicans were working together on that, saying, hey, that's not the case. And it wasn't the case. It was never a part of any of the conversations that I was ever in, okay? Then we started working on, passing our bill out of the House, which actually, for Congress and the federal government, was a step in the right direction. It still raised the debt ceiling, I think, $1.5 trillion. And it was called the Limit, Save, Grow Act. But in it, we cut the money for the 87,000 IRS agents. We had the REINS Act in there. We put the REINS Act, which is basically, a lot of these bureaucratic institutions, that the American people don't elect can spend, and they do spend a lot of money. And so the REINS Act said that, they had to get permission to Congress if they were going to spend over a certain dollar amount. So that was a good part of it. We also cut the student loan bailout money, which Americans were furious about. They were like, why are we bailing people out for student loans that they took when many Americans have paid their student loans off, right? Mm-hmm. And then we cut the Green New Deal money, or they called it the IRA, the Inflation Reduction Act. We cut that money. We were going to rescind all the COVID money that was still, because there's still a lot of COVID money out there. Mm-hmm. We were going to rescind that as well. And so even though it wasn't a perfect bill, it actually had cuts in it. And I was talking to guys that have been up there for a long time, and I think there were 4 or 5 guys that didn't vote for it. And 80% of that bill was probably, and this is what I was told, 80% of that bill was came out of the House Freedom Caucus, which I'm a part of, which is your furthest right, your most conservative people up there. And so it was definitely a step in the right direction, though not great, right? And that got 218 votes, and you need 218 votes if everybody shows up to pass a bill in Congress. So that was the bill. That was the bill that we ran, and then the bill that they just passed, it's going to probably be at least $4 trillion. There wasn't even a dollar amount. It was uncapped, and it was to January 2025. And almost all of that stuff that I just talked about, all those cuts, more or less gone. And so that's why there were a lot of us, I think 70 Republicans, I believe, that voted against it because we're just like, no, man. And you know, I'll be honest. And I'll be honest and say, look, I understand it. Kevin McCarthy had to go negotiate with a Democrat-controlled Senate and then also President Biden. I think everybody knew that we weren't going to be able to, you know, pass the same exact bill. Or I shouldn't say that. I should say, I think a lot of us figured that, you know, there would be compromise, but not to the level that we saw. And so that's why you saw a lot of Republicans that weren't even members of the House Freedom Caucus that said, I can't support this, you know. And even on the bill that we passed out of the House that I just told you about that had all those cuts in it, this was an interesting time for me because I ended up actually, I think, being the swing vote on that one.
Really?
Yeah. I think I was the last guy to vote. If I wouldn't have voted yes, I'm pretty sure it would have failed. And I was a no, pretty hard no going into that vote, just because I'm like, we can't keep raising the debt limit, right? Even though everybody and their brother told me and everybody else that, hey, if we don't pass something, we'll get something worse. But the night before the vote, I did a little town hall with, you know, I think it was 12 people that had supported me for a long time and some key people in my district. And I think I asked the question, just like I did for the Kevin McCarthy vote, what do you guys think? I'm going to put you in the room. I'm going to tell you, you know, I'm going to paint the picture for you as best I can. I'm going to tell you what I think the pros and the cons are. I'm leaning no, but what do you guys think? And on that call, with only 12 people, I think 10 out of the 12 of them said, we want you to do it. We want you to vote for it, which really surprised me. And so I was like, I misjudged what I thought my voters would say. So the very next day, I had my team rush out a survey to, you know, all the other counties within my district. And I told them, I need you guys to get back to me ASAP, get as many responses as possible. Same thing. These are the pros. These are the cons. I'm leaning no. And I think we had close to 500 respondents. And I think it was 79.6 of the people that responded told me they wanted me to vote for it.
No
and
kidding.
so I was like, even then, I was still the last guy to vote because, dude, I was sweating bullets. My gut was telling me, don't do it. But then, you know, I knew that this was one of the best, according to this more experienced members of the House Freedom Caucus, this was one of the best bills they'd ever seen as far as a debt limit bill because it actually had cuts in it. And then my voters, the vast majority of them that responded to the survey said they wanted me to vote for it. So I was like, I was torn, man. And I was like, in that situation, you're a representative. You know, you represent this amount of people. You're supposed to be their voice there. So what do? Right? Do you go with what you're pretty confident the people in your district want you to do, or do you go with your gut? And I went with what I thought that, you know, they wanted me to do.
Well, for whatever it's worth, I think you're doing the right thing. I did hear some. I am curious. You know, originally I was completely against the student loan debt relief.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was atrocious.
Yeah.
Then I kind of changed my mind.
Okay.
And reason being, all I see is just money being fucking pumped into Ukraine, into the wars that we fought in, into Syria, into, you know, and it's none of the fucking money seems to come to our own people. It doesn't go to the border. It doesn't go to. It doesn't seem to go to anything unless, I don't know, maybe the LGBTQ plus community that seems to get a lot of attention. But, you know, and we do have. I mean, I understand your thought process because that was my original thought process too. This is bullshit. If all these other people had to pay for their fucking college, then these people need to pay for it too. Well, you know, then I started thinking about it, and I was like, why not? Why not invest into our own people? Why wouldn't we invest into our own people? That's something I would like to see more of, is us invest into our own people and quit sending all this money to fucking Ukraine and all in everywhere else in the world that has a problem. Anybody in the world has a problem, we send them money. We got a problem, there's no money. We got school shootings going on nonstop. Nothing's being done about it on either side. Nobody's shitting out any money for the schools. Nobody's shitting any money out for these. I mean, these kids are, you know, they are drowning in debt, and they can't buy a home, and or they think they can't buy a home, and so I don't know. To me, it's like, yeah, it would be good to see the U.S. government invest in its own people for once, and so why don't you agree with that?
Well, you know, going back to, you know, being fiscally conservative, one, I don't think that's the government's job to, you know, pay, you know, I mean, what's that? I think that's a really slippery slope. And secondly, we can't afford it, right? We're $32 trillion in debt. And as of January of, you know, 2025, we're going to be at least 36, probably $37 trillion in debt. So I just think that, you know, when, and I'm not going to argue that, hey, if you're going to spend money frivolously, and I'm not going to argue that that wouldn't be a good, you know, if you're going to do it anyway, I mean, that's a pretty, that would be up there on the list of one of the best ways to do it. My point is, it's like, before you start, you know, giving handouts and, you know, stuff like that, get your house in order. Mm-hmm. Pay off your debts, right? Quit spending money you don't have. Like, sometimes I like to take big problems and I like to shrink them down. I like to, just for simplicity's sake. And I know that they're, you know, it's not always, tit for tat, but it's like, if you personally had, you know, $3 million in debt, right? Or say you had $300,000 in debt, whatever it was. And I saw you out, you know, taking lines of credit or your credit cards and spending them on, you know, somebody else's family, and let's say on top of it, I know that your kids are hungry, right? Mm-hmm. And I know that, you know, you haven't paid that ticket that you owe, or, you know, I know that, you know, just I know things about you that, like, you're just not being financially responsible at all. And we all know people like that, but yet I see you take your credit card and, you know, you go run up more debt, buying somebody else, you know, food or something that we could even say is virtuous. I would say, as your friend, hey, I think that that's nice that you did that, but as a brother and somebody who cares about you and cares about your kid and cares about you just personally, you should probably pay off this debt that you owe, put some, you know, food in your kid's mouth before you start going out and, you know, paying somebody else, you know, paying somebody else's rent. Or does that make any sense?
It does.
That would be my logic behind that.
You want to rein it all in. I get it.
What other way is there? And
I get it.
You know, it's like, it's hard too, Sean, because, like, one of the things I saw as we're trying to make these cuts, one of the very effective things that the other side did, is the Veteran Affairs, the head of Veterans Affairs, who used to be Obama's chief of staff, basically put out a press release saying that, and you probably saw this, I know a lot of veterans texted me and reached out to me, but he said that we were going to cut VA spending by 22%. Which was completely nonsense.
I saw that. I know.
What they
bullshit.
did was they took a look at the cuts that we were proposing, and they just, you know, took 22% like off the top of everything, even though that's not how we were going to do it. And I think they knew that. What we were targeting was woke and weaponized spending from the federal government. And I just went through some of the cuts that we were actually going after. Never once was I on a phone call, in a meeting, and keep in mind I'm part of the group that was proposing a lot of the cuts and trying to pump the brakes. Not one time did anybody say, "Hey, let's cut VA's budget by 22%." But when they did that, it kicked over a hornet's nest.
Yeah.
And that's what they do anytime you start talking about making cuts up on Capitol Hill. They start pulling people's heartstrings, saying, Sean, Eli doesn't care about veterans. Eli doesn't care about this, that, and that it's effective because, then your phone starts ringing.
I mean, backing up real quick, I just wanted to say this. Yeah, I do understand the student loan stuff. I mean, handouts just create entitled,
Yeah.
weak people.
Yeah.
It just does.
Yeah.
I do like the fact that, maybe we would have invested into our own people, but with that being said, you see it. You see it with these social programs.
No, you do.
You see it. They get comfortable. They get used to the free handout.
Yeah.
And it creates lazy, weak people.
It does.
We have a lot of lazy, weak people.
No,
in this
it does.
country.
Like if I went into I would, I don't think I've ever had a conversation with you about like how you started this amazing business. But I doubt it was, I doubt old Uncle Sam came in here and, gave you a handout.
I wish he did, but but he did not.
I think you worked your tail off and were creative and took some risks, And I know that not everybody, I know that we're not all created, the same. I know we have different strengths and weaknesses. And I do think that there's a small role for, government to kind of be a safety net for certain individuals. But I think it's gotten way out of control. And that was another thing that we were trying to cut. It was it was part of the SNAP program. People that are able-bodied, individuals that are still on the government, teat, if you will. We're trying to get some of them off and back to work.
Good.
Right. And so, yeah, man, I just think that we've got to get back to, a country that has a little bit more fiscal responsibility. And I it's like that old adage, you give a man a fish, he eats for a day. You teach him how to fish, he eats for the rest of his life. When I look at the spirit of this country and the people that impress me the most, America does, have a level of pioneer entrepreneurial spirit about it, because capitalism is such an amazing thing. And I think it's brought so much prosperity to so many Americans. And, I want to see that continue to be a thing. And I do believe that socialism it's this cancer that continues to metastasize within our culture and our country.
Just a heads up,
programs
this
like
is
that.
a
Like,
conversation
let's
between
just pay
Eli
people's-
Crane
let's just pay
and Sean
people's
Ryan
student
on
loan
the
off.
Sean
I
Ryan
think
Show.
I think it's a slippery slope.
The
and I
link
think
will
it's
be in
a,
the description
I
at
think
the
it's
end
a
of the
slow,
podcast, and I will be
slow
pinning it in the
march to
comments
socialism, and I think that's what a lot of
very
people
shortly.
want. I
Thank
think
you
they
for
want,
all the
and it's
support
sad too, Sean, because
You're only
it's
9
like when
away
you look at what kids are being taught
from our goal.
now in world history.
We're gonna check back in with this
They're not being
conversation
taught
right now.
about the evils and just what socialism has done around the globe. How many hundreds of millions of people have died at the hands of it. It's a bunch of promises, and it's like the folks at the very, very top get really wealthy, and the folks usually the masses and the people that are supposed to be taken care of, go to Venezuela, go to places around the world where socialism has failed, It's the most debunked economic idea of all time. It's never worked. And what did they tell you every single time you have a conversation with a socialist? Well, it hasn't been done right yet, right? And it might. I mean, it usually after about a 20-year period starts to completely unravel. So I mean, it'll be okay for a couple years, but then sooner or later you run out of other people's money.
That makes sense. Going back also with the Veterans Affairs stuff and the whatever you want to call it, the smear campaign. Everybody knows there's a lot of lying that goes on in politics.
Oh yeah.
And so what I want to ask you is, why are there not any consequences to slandering somebody's name or how they voted? I'm sure this is a rookie question, but why can't you slap a defamation suit against somebody and sue them?
Well, we just tried to do that this week. We tried to censure Adam Schiff. Anna Paulina Luna dropped a motion to do, that would do just that, a bill that would do just that. And unfortunately, 20 Republicans voted against it for, I think, a variety of different reasons.
What was this bill?
I don't remember the exact nomenclature or number to it, but if you go look it up, Anna Paulina Luna, and it was just, I think it was yesterday, finally got her bill to the floor that would censure Adam Schiff, make the House Ethics Committee actually investigate the lies that he told during this whole Russiagate thing when he was like the chairman of Intel. Knowingly lied to Congress, knowingly lied to the American people. I think it cost the American people $32 million to do some of the impeachment investigations, I believe. And I'm just trying to go off memory here.
What was he lying about? I'm not familiar with all of this.
That Trump was colluding with the Russians. You remember that whole Russiagate thing?
I do.
Yeah. And then the impeachment that followed, a lot of that was Adam Schiff, who's a congressman, a sitting congressman from California, who's now running for Senate. So she tried to censure Adam Schiff, and then part of what she had in there was that if House Ethics finds him guilty, he can be fined up to $16 million, which would have been half of what the American taxpayers spent on all the legal fees associated with that whole debacle.
So he hold on, let me get this straight. So he withheld evidence, or he lied?
He lied. He knowingly lied.
Starting an e-commerce platform can be very intimidating, especially if you're not that tech savvy like me. Why can't you just sue them out? I mean, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think there is some insulation.
Special treatment?
Yeah, I don't know all the legalities of that, and I apologize once again. Being a freshman, I don't know a ton of things, but I don't know what that would even look like. But I know that Congress, we just tried to hold one of our own accountable, and there's members of Congress, being investigated all the time, but I think because of the politics involved, often it doesn't really go anywhere.
Well, let's dive into the Uniparty.
Yeah.
I just want to hear you speak on it.
Yeah.
Because it's being brought up more and more and more.
Yeah.
And so what's going on here with the Uniparty?
Yeah. So, and again, this is just my perspective on it, but Washington, D.C. to me seems like this massive machine, right? And there's so many groups and institutions and special interests and lobbyist groups that benefit from the money that constantly gets pumped out of that place, right? And so because a lot of those lobbyists and special interest groups support politicians, often, and they'll support politicians on both sides of the aisle. It really doesn't matter to them. As a matter of fact, if it is bipartisan, if they get bipartisan support, meaning they get Republican support and Democrat support for the same thing, it's often a much better chance that they'll get whatever they're pushing for over the finish line. Okay, so because of that, oftentimes you'll see like what you just saw last week with the at least $4 trillion and 165 Democrats voting for a bill and 149 Republicans voting for a bill. And now they don't, because one of the things that we proposed when we were doing our bill was that it would only go to next year. I believe it was March of next year. But they pushed, in their bill that they passed this last week, they pushed it out 2 years so they wouldn't have to deal with it again next year. Right? And so like if you were in financial trouble, Sean, or even like let's say your marriage was in trouble, the marriage you'd probably be like, the marriage counselor probably wouldn't be like, hey, come back in 2 years. He'd probably be like, hey, I want to see you next week. And if it was the problem was more intense, hey, I want to see you 2 or 3 times this week. And so when we passed our bill, we actually wanted it to be kind of a short turnaround period so that we could, what we were saying is take another bite at the apple. We got these cuts in there on this one. Let's come back here, in a few months and do this again. Take another stab at it, get more cuts, right? Keep having this conversation. But what the Uniparty did, is they pushed it out a couple years. There was no cap on it. And then, but what's the result of that? Everybody gets paid for 2 years. Oh, it wasn't quite 2 years, but everybody gets paid for a while. We don't have to worry about that for a while. So that's a big part of it. And it's always, the same culprits, money and power, right? And they kind of work together. And even the media works with them. And I mean, you knew that, your viewers knew that. But I would, and I think that this is one thing that, even Republicans and conservatives have started to see over the last couple of years. Some of the people that you've watched on TV for many years and trusted, might not be as patriotic or as conservative as you think. And that's tough. That's tough to even say, man. But all I can tell you is in the midst of that speaker fight, when it seems like the weight of the world is bearing down on you, you're wildly outnumbered 10-1 in your own party, and people on television that you've watched for years and listened to on the radio are saying that you're a terrorist and, you're an idiot and you're a moron and what are you doing? You're going to give control to the Democrats. That's something you never forget. And that's not to say that I don't have grace, because I think we all get it wrong from time to time. But that was a very eye-opening experience for me to watch the media give air cover to the Uniparty when what it should have been doing was, in my opinion, covering for the actual conservatives that were fighting for change in that fight, fighting for a check on the Uniparty.
Well, I think, I think I know who you're talking about.
And, there's not just one person. There's multiple people.
Yeah. Well, we just saw Big News Corporation, when we just saw how controlled they are with the Tucker Carlson thing.
Yeah.
It just right there just proved it.
Yep.
It proved all of it.
Yep.
Now what did they slap him with? A cease and desist? He's not,
I haven't even seen what they slapped him with, but he was their top guy.
Yeah.
And, I do believe Tucker Carlson's a truth teller. And I believe he has more courage than, the vast, vast majority of people in this country, probably worldwide, because, you've heard that saying, it's always a lot further fall from the top. And even, whether you're in politics, professionally, in the media, etc., not a lot of people have the courage to roll the dice when when they've gotten comfortable and they feel like they've got a lot to lose. But that's one thing that whether you agree with Tucker Carlson or not, whether you agree with everything he's said or, you know, every story he's ever run or not, that guy has courage, dude. And that was pretty telling what, you know, Fox did.
Yeah, well, the ratings are way down. What are some other things that the Uniparty is involved in?
Like one of the things that surprises me, like, is holding people accountable.
Okay.
Right?
Good.
That's something that I think that there's a strong uniparty current on. One of the, like, you know, raise your hand out there if you're a Republican and you think Secretary Mayork is doing a good job. Raise your hand if you think he's derelict in his duties. Raise your hand if you think he should be fired, right? And this is one of the things that just blows me away. I mean, how much evidence do you have to see before you're like, okay, this guy has to go? And even if you guys are going to replace him with somebody bad or even worse, we'll deal with that guy when he gets here or that gal when she gets here. But this guy needs to go, okay? And there'll be, you know, Democrats and Republicans that, you know, all the Democrats would stop that, but there would be Republicans that wouldn't vote with us either to make that happen. And so you'll see stuff like that where Americans are like, they're begging, Sean, they're begging for somebody to be held accountable. Like it makes them sick. It makes it sick to their stomach, dude, knowing that there's a double standard, one for them and one for people with influence, you know, in high-ranking positions, and that's another area where the Uniparty will often, you know, move in lockstep, make deals, cut deals.
Well, let's move into Majorca and what's going on there. A lot of I want to.
Oh, this is
I want to
a
expound
podcast
on
between
names
Sean
because a
Ryan
lot of people
and
don't.
Eli
I'm
Crane.
one of them. I don't know all the names.
link
I'm
is
not
in the
immersed
description,
in
or
this stuff.
in the
I'm very
comments, and we'll put it in
concerned
the
about the
description.
You're
country.
probably a
the
much healthier
podcast.
person that you don't know.
Or at the
the
end of
names.
the
Oh no,
stream.
I don't know if I would say that because
We're not
I'm
gonna listen to the whole
aware of what's
episode.
going on.
I really just wanted to
you know,
listen
down at
to
the
a
border, but
segment of it right
you know,
there.
I putting all the names together. I mean, there's hundreds of names,
Yeah.
and so
This
Majorca's
is all approved,
head
of
of
course.
Department of
Sean
Homeland
doesn't
Security.
mind
Yep,
at all.
Secretary
He
Mayorkas.
actually
and
wants this information
what we're
out.
getting into is the southern border.
Yeah.
So what's
So that's
going
why
on?
we're going to
down
be
there?
listening to it
You've
right
been
now.
down there.
Yeah, it's a disaster. I'm from Arizona. I was born in Tucson, raised in Yuma, right on the southern border. You know, the last time I spent a good amount of time down there was a trip that we did in the Homeland Security Committee. We were actually in Texas.